I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me.
Welcome to Millionaire Before 30. Millionaire before the age of 30.
This show, we are designing to give you guys the blueprint of how to become a millionaire before 30 years old. I'm Ryan Zolin.
I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and we are absolutely thrilled. We're absolutely excited. We have the phenom, Alex Saenz.
Guys, what an honor, and excited to join you guys along with the audience and just provide an amazing process in which works, right? In which actually works. So excited to get started.
So, Alex, we talk about, well, let's kind of let everybody know like your experience, right? You got in, I mean, you were doing this, I feel like you were doing this as a senior in high school. You were doing real estate. When did you get into it?
Yeah, so I learned the concept of wholesaling in high school.
Right.
So it was actually May of 2015, which is my senior year.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies, Jalen White, which I think you know, he closed a $13,000 deal in high school. So the proof of concept was there immediately for me.
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge advantage because I feel like there's a lot of people that look at this industry with a lot of skepticism.
Sure.
And they wonder, is this real? Am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Like, you know, so it's, for me, the proof of concept was everything. So it wasn't a matter of, hey, is this real? It was, hey, what do I have to do to make it happen?
Yeah.
Right. And of course, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Right. I wish I could say that became a millionaire in my first 30 days, but it just didn't happen.
No.
Right. But after 9 long months of putting out bandit signs, door knocking, cold calling, I finally got my first deal.
Love it.
Right. And I had multiple deals under contract before that. But after those 9 months, I realized, like, man, I was doing it all wrong. Right. I wasn't following the advice of channels like yours or people in the industry.
Or yours.
That were doing it. Yeah. So 9 months to get my first deal. Driving for dollars is how I got it.
Yep.
And ironically enough, it was $13,000 as
Okay.
well.
Yeah,
just
massive.
like Jalen. Just like Jalen. So
Love it.
It was awesome.
That's awesome, man.
So let me ask you this. Growing up, did your family own a lot of property? Did they have, or do you come from a family of entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneurs, yes,
Okay.
but different type of entrepreneurs.
Go for it.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
my dad worked construction, so he never had a boss, but he was always doing one-off jobs.
Got it.
So I would consider that a little bit of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then my grandpa, he owned a market, like a food market in Mexico. So,
Yeah.
So he had a corner store. So they never worked for anybody, but I did see that, like, oh, they at least work on their own time.
You saw that hustle.
Yeah, I saw that hustle.
Yep.
But as far as property, yeah, that I wish. The 2 properties that my parents did own got foreclosed in 2008. So I saw that crash, and that when we got foreclosed on those 2 properties, we were forced to move into a trailer park or a trailer home.
Are you?
So yeah, I lived in Surprise, Arizona.
Yeah.
Half $1 million house. I mean, stated income loans. You know, people got ahead of themselves, including my parents.
Sure.
But after that, moved into a trailer home, and I was really humbled. Right? I mean, this was a $5,000 trailer home that they bought off Craigslist. Somebody through probate, and I didn't know it was probate until years later. But that's how they got the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how
I grew
does
up in a trailer home.
How does that work on your mindset? That okay? So you transition. You lived in this house. Now you live in a trailer. You've got that was bought for $5,000. How do you go to that to? Oh, I think that I can be a real estate investor. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I always looked at those years like a huge burden.
Okay.
Until I realized they were a huge blessing.
Sure.
Because they really humbled me, and it showed me a reference of what it feels like to be bottom at the bottom.
Right.
So for me, it was, in those moments I hated it, but later on I really became grateful for that experience because I understand what it is there, and I can relate with the masses that are actually going through that struggle now.
Yep.
So I see it as a blessing now, but in those moments it sucks, and all you want to do is get out of it.
Yep.
You know, you're in this survival phase, and And for a lot of people, I know there's so many people out there that have the talent, even more talent than us.
Sure.
But they don't have the vehicle, or they don't use the vehicle. So for me, I just needed the vehicle, and that came in the form of real estate. So
I love it. I love it. And so Ryan, you guys are right there. When did you graduate? You
I
were
graduated.
15?
Yeah, he was 15. I was 16.
16. Okay, got it. So 24 years old, 23?
yeah, 24.
Okay, excellent. So how did that, and I'm really interested in this because I think that, it's really interesting. You guys, I went through it as like whatever, an adult, right? I went through the 08, I went through the 09. I lost the properties like that. I was in your parents' shoes and that, doing these silly loans that you just get whatever and buy a bunch of investment properties, lose them, be really financially irresponsible. So I got it on my end, but I didn't have kids. Like it didn't affect the children. You know what I mean? So you guys were going through it like you had a little bit of a buffer because it was directly hitting your parents, but the influence that it had on you guys, I honestly think your generation, your age group of entrepreneurs, I feel like are stronger because you saw what happened in the downturn growing up. You know what I mean? You didn't go through it directly, but you saw how it influenced your family, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? It was almost like you got like a test run of understanding, like, this is how you lose it all. Right. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt. Oh, absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah, so my situation was my family had just moved. We bought a new house right before the crash.
Yeah.
And then it was like they overpaid for their house, but they had sold their other home at the peak of the market.
Sure.
So then the market had crashed. Everyone around them was like, oh, man, you guys lost, you lost, you lost. And all I remember my parents saying at that time was, we haven't sold, so we haven't lost.
Got it.
So they were they had started up their own company at that time, so they were just trying to make ends meet. They ended up going a lot into debt, just starting the company and getting that all up and rolling. But obviously that was the sacrifice that they made, and then they just had to stay afloat during the crash and count their blessings.
Love it.
So.
Love it. So you're in high school. You see Jalen do a deal. You're putting out these things. It takes you 9 months to get your first deal. What are you thinking during that 9 months? Because there's a lot of people watching this that are in what we would that first cycle, right? That first momentum building cycle where you're taking action, but you're just not. It's like working out, right? You go back to working out, and you're working out, and you're like, "Where's the results?" And then all of a sudden, it starts popping, right? The consistency.
Yeah, I think in that moment, I mean, it sucks. It's a grind. But hindsight, looking back, it's like that was the biggest blessing I could receive because it made me appreciate getting a real estate deal.
Sure.
Right? If I would have got a deal like my first week, I probably would have spoiled it. I wouldn't have been who I am today.
I have seen more people that I've coached, and probably you as well, more people that I've coached that get a deal in their first like 30, 45 days, and then I don't hear from them for 6 months. And then they're like, oh man, I stopped the engine, now I'm coming back and trying to do it again, right?
Yeah, so for
That's
me,
real.
Those 9 months really made me appreciate this business. And I mean, during those 9 months, it sucked. I had one deal under contract. This was like month 7, and it was a bandit sign, Maryville deal. At the time, it was like $100,000 house, but I had it assigned for $5,000, and I quit my job. Right, like I'm working at a call center. During this time, like my dad was doing his thing. My mom moved to Nevada, so I'm living at a friend's house, and it was in his little brother's Spider-Man room. And I was too big; my feet were dangling off the bed. So, like, to give you context, that's the state that I was in.
Sure.
So there's nobody for emotional support. There's nobody I could reach out to. There's nobody I could go ask for $100. So during those 9 months, how I was paying for marketing was credit cards. So by the end of the year, I had like $4,000 in debt, and it was all used for food and bandit signs. Yeah. And I had no car. So I would convince my friends. I'm like, hey, if I buy you food, can you drive me around?
Yeah.
So that worked.
Yeah.
But those 9 months.
On credit.
Yeah, on credit.
Right.
So when I got that deal, it was a $5,000, expected profit. The seller calls me a day before closing. Keep in mind, I quit my job already. So I'm counting on this check. And and the seller calls me and says, hey, my dad has cancer. We're not going to sell. And what do I do?
Yeah.
I'm not going to strong arm. The guy's actually going through it.
Yeah.
So I let the deal go, and then I hit like 7 days of like pure straight depression. Like I'm like, I quit. I'm done with this real estate. It doesn't work. And at this point, I'm living in a studio room, paying like $600 a month. I don't have $600 for rent. It's like the 5th of January, 2016. And I hit like 7 days of pure depression. I realized like, man, it can't get worse than this. Like I can't get lower than this. Like I have nothing to my name. I have nobody to reach out to. I'm like, I have to keep going. So I started driving for dollars, and then so this was like the deal fell apart like January 2nd. By January, I think 16th.
I love how you remember the dates.
Yeah,
like these
it's
are
all,
big,
it's all on my
important
Instagram
dates.
too. It's all stamped on my Instagram.
Yeah.
By like January 16th, 18th, I closed at $13,000
Awesome.
deal. And after that, just started soaring.
Right. Now, you did a presentation at a mastermind that we were at, and it shows all. It's not that you just do real estate now.
No.
Now you have how many businesses?
I would say 10 plus.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like multiple 6-figure, multiple 7-figure.
Yeah.
Was there an 8-figure in there somewhere?
There is one 8-figure.
Right.
Yeah.
All of these businesses. And listen, you've got incredible partners with Carlos and Sal
Yep.
on some of those, right?
Yep.
Or all of them?
Yeah, all but my real estate.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got your own real estate business.
Real estate, I have
Yes.
100% ownership.
But tell everybody what other business, because I think that this is important. Like, people need to understand when we talk about put it up, Matt,
Or chart.
the blueprint here, right? Do a deal, get full time in this business, kill the debt, invest in assets. That's essentially that's where you're at. That's where you're putting your thing. Invest in the assets. Businesses being an asset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so keep that chart up again. So like, just to give you guys like a timeline on my story. So okay, 9 months to do my first deal, and then this was 2016. I was solo all of 2016. Did 12 deals for 120K in deals.
Love it.
But I realized, like, man, I'm treating this like a hobby, and I'm the only one enjoying life, because I looked around. My mom's still working a full-time job. My dad's still in the sun working construction. My brothers and sisters don't have any college fund or any future, anything.
Right.
So I made it bigger than just about myself, and I think that's crucial. Like, anybody can do a deal if you focus and work hard enough, but it takes a different type of why and purpose to do a full-time business, because the full-time business is not easy, right?
Right.
There's a lot of moving parts. You're going to have months where, you're cutting close on profitability, and then you're going to have months where they're really great, right? But it takes a lot. So with the full-time business, I didn't grow up with money. So my first 6-figure months, back to back to back, I totally splurged it.
Sure.
Like, just to be real. But I kept the marketing and the people there, so that was my way of justifying it. But I blew a lot of money in dumb ways. So the debt part, that is a huge challenge. It's like, okay, you can make a lot of money, but what are you doing with it? And the answer that we found is to invest in assets, which is perfectly with this process. So those assets and companies, how do I explain it? So in real estate, there's 100 ways to make money. So we just really thought, like, what other ways with that specific vertical could we make money with? So some of the companies, we have a data company, we have a CRM company, we have a marketing platform, we have a digital marketing company for Google Ads and Facebook, cold calling platform.
Cold calling you have a whole call center.
A call center with 450 agents.
Right.
Wow.
And then, our real estate company, and we have a solar company as well, solarfuse.com. And then, I'm kind of going blank. We have like 3 CRM companies, and then consulting business with All In. So that does exceptionally
the coaching
well.
and absolutely. And real quick, because I'm going to get a little bit deeper, and then we're just going to open this up because we're 13 minutes in, and I want to make sure, because we go for 90 minutes, I want to make sure that people are going to have a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get to it. But Ryan, be honest, the first 6-figure month, did you splurge like Alex?
A
little bit.
I definitely had my moment. I will say that, like, to get to the point where I had my first 6-figure month took me a few years.
Sure.
So it took me a lot of the moments, like what Alex was saying, of the ebbs and flows, realizing you could have a month where you're like, whew, okay, if I don't close the deal this month, credit card. Here we go. So I went through that. So when I got my first 6-figure month, I absolutely splurged, to answer your question, but I was a little bit more reserved.
Yeah,
so.
Got it. Well, it's really interesting, right? Because you're making money, you're being consistent, and then you hit those big months, and you see this money in your account, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what else can I do? Like, I'm so good at this. Like, there's so many other opportunities, and people start coming up to you, and they start seeing that you're successful, and they're like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And then all of a sudden you might get distracted, and you stop the lead generation engine. What you're saying is never stop the lead generation engine.
Never. Yeah, never.
As long you can splurge for a little bit, have some fun, but just make sure that the people and the machine are paid for.
Yeah, I never over prioritize my personal
Sure.
wants
Yeah.
with the company.
Right.
So I always kept marketing. The only thing I did bad or wrong with marketing is when I would start a new channel, I would decrease one.
Sure.
And I learned that if something's working, don't mess with that.
Yep.
Like, how do you improve that? So that, I mean, that's a little separate than splurging, but
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah.
There's one thing that I want to ask you, kind of goes in with the whole splurging thing, because obviously, as you've grown all these companies and you've accumulated a lot more money, there comes a lot of mindset strength and like challenges here. I wanted to talk to you about a little bit of the mindset. What advice would you give to people that are younger? Because a lot of our audience is the younger crowd, obviously trying to make it millionaire before 30. A lot of these people that are the ones that are 18, 19, 20 in high school, what would you recommend as advice to them for mindset?
Yeah, so okay, so initially, like when you're trying to make something out of nothing, a lot of it is discipline and consistency, right? So if you can just be disciplined and consistent with the plan of action that you're after, you're going to get results. When you get results, you're going to be faced with a lot of different challenges. A lot of them going to be a lot of mental, maybe some physical, maybe physical stress, or maybe some spiritual, right? Spiritual problems.
100%.
So you will be tested. You will have challenges that arise, and in those moments, you have to really dig within, right? And I got by 21, earning 6 figures a month, driving the car that I want. I was traveling whenever I wanted. I was, sending money to my family.
Yeah.
Really kind of living the dream that I was after. And then in those alone moments, I was still depressed.
Sure.
I'm like, why am I still depressed? And come to find out, there was a lot of unresolved trauma from my past, right? And so in order to get to the next level, what really helped me just catapult was clearing up that past trauma.
Sure.
Right, going to, and especially like as a minority, like I didn't grow up with like therapists and psychologists. I wish I did. I didn't realize the importance of that.
Yeah.
So for me, that is the route that I took. A great psychologist that I went to that has changed my life, I consider him a mentor, is Dr. George Pratt. Dr. George Pratt, he's in La Jolla, California. Did a lot of therapy with him and hypnosis, and just rewired my whole subconscious. So I guess there's 2 levels to hit. One is like, okay, let me create some success.
Yeah.
And that requires like the mindset. And you can achieve that by brute force.
Yep.
But if you want flawless flow-like businesses with a lot of joy and happiness, you have to clear up all the past trauma.
Yep.
So you can feel worthy, safe, and feel love. Yeah.
So where do you start then if you haven't gotten to that point?
Yeah, I would, so if somebody's in the point where they're making money already, but they can't get to that next level.
Correct.
Yeah, a lot of it is subconscious blocks. So a lot of it is feeling worthy, and then it's not just enough to say, I am worthy. It's not enough to say just an affirmation. You have to really clear up all the past. So a lot of that requires a lot of awareness, and therefore that's why I recommend a professional to really guide you through that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. And now you feel, I mean, we're always working, right? We're always learning. I see that, a lot of that is, in my mind, like education, right? Not like the school education, but just learning, like learning new things, learning new things about yourself, learning new ways to handle stress and to handle success and to handle failure and to handle being financially responsible for dozens of people.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
like all of that stuff, like heavy does weigh the crown for sure. And it's just building up and learning how to effectively handle all of it, effectively be able to not only handle it, but then still keep that fire in your belly for more things that you want to do and more achievements that you have and like new interesting challenges. You see a lot of these people that become real successful, all of a sudden they're doing like Ironman competitions, or they're doing like some sort of crazy a challenge that they want to do in their lives, whatever it is, just because they're constantly looking for that next learning experience. And I think that that's so key. I think if you're open, you have an open mind and not a fixed mindset, it goes a long way.
Yeah, growth mind. Yeah, and by no means am I portraying to be perfect, because I have my farewell challenges as well. But one thing that I have really done well is just continue to expand capacity. That's what I call it. Hey, just expand capacity. Because as you grow as an entrepreneur and business owner, real estate investor, like, are our problems going to get bigger or smaller?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get bigger.
They're going to get way bigger.
They're going to get way bigger, right? So I look at it like a stock chart. So if problems are going up,
Yeah.
and you're just staying stagnant, like there's going to be a huge imbalance.
That's it.
And that causes crashes, anxiety, and just
Ebbs and flows even.
yeah. So in order to keep up with that, you got to increase your capacity.
Yep.
How do you do that? Right. That's what are you putting into your mind? Right. What are you reading? What are you watching?
Who are you around?
Who are you around?
People.
What how are you processing emotions? How are you processing traumatic things? I mean, it happens to us as adults.
Sure.
Last May, I had probably the worst month of my life, and it was like multiple near-death experiences. I
What?
got assaulted in Sal's Lambo at gunpoint. Our office building burned down. All of these things happened, and
Wait, somebody put you at gunpoint?
yeah, they're trying to steal Sal's Lambo.
In
Yeah.
Sal's
Yeah.
Lamborghini?
Wow.
Yeah, in Phoenix, downtown Phoenix.
No.
Yeah.
Just you?
Yeah, just me.
You were just driving around,
I was driving
having
around.
a good time.
Yep.
And they just
I was
popped
parked.
out.
I was parked on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wish I shouldn't have been parked, but
And they tried to take the Lambo?
they tried to take the Lambo.
Did they take it?
I was about to get out the car, and then I took off and messed up like 3 of the 4 rims.
You
I had to pay
did.
Sal for all that. But,
Sure.
Anyway, so my point is
Yeah.
like all the.
That's crazy.
That's an interesting story, though.
That is.
But all those
I'm
moments,
like getting sweaty.
yeah,
I know, right?
all those
Wow.
moments really tested me, and what it allowed me to realize is the ability to process that. So when traumatic things happen like that, we all get fixated on that, and it really derails our growth. So
Yep.
if you can go back to those moments and find the lesson, the love, the light in that experience, it's going to allow you to process much quicker.
I love it.
So for me, like, it took me a few days at least for the gunpoint thing to be like, okay, I'm safe. But whereas in the past it would have took me months, and then I would have been bitter at that person, and that
And you
stuff
just-
doesn't really serve you.
It would stay around a lot longer
Yeah.
in your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be living in there. Yeah. Guys, any questions? I want to get the comments going. This is a question and answer show primarily. So as you have some questions, we want you to participate. So make sure that you're putting in the questions, comments. If you have any successes that you did not share, that you haven't shared yet with us, make sure that you put it in there. We want to ring this victory bell and to give you recognition and love. Sasha, I love this so much. It's replaced Hulu, Netflix, and most of YouTube for me. Well, good, because this is the real deal. Listen, there is a difference. Remember, anytime that you're taking in any content, you have to look at it through the filter. Is this entertainment? Is this education, or is this instruction, right? Instruction is the action plan. Instruction is the tangible action items that you can implement into your life so that you can start, so that you can get to your goal faster, right? The education is fantastic. You learn a lot. That's great, but it doesn't really get you, the meat and potatoes of what you need to do to take the action. And then entertainment is the biggest, right? Music and movies and shows and everything else. You just got to watch. I'm telling you, when you're on your way up, when you're building up, when you're getting to that point where you're building to be a millionaire, I watch how much time you're spent with the entertainment. I think that you should be if you're in your car, you should be listening to really, really good, positive business mindset, self-development, personal development, everything, psychology, all of those things as you're driving around by yourself. I think that you need to make sure that you're reading at least 10 pages every single day so that you are putting really great stuff. Remember, books are the plunger. It is the plunger for your brain. All the crazy things that happen in society that's getting dumped on you through social media and news and life and people talking and all these things that gets plunged out by really good books. So make sure that you're reading 10 pages a day, every day. It is your mental plunger, and make sure that you are surrounding yourself with incredible, proactive, hungry, patient people that have a huge amount of optimism. You do all those things and you're going to be in a wonderful, wonderful place, and in a much better place, and have the foundation to start taking action.
Without a doubt.
Right.
You're so good at that.
Right.
No, I mean,
you're amazing.
Listen, it is the truth. I had this guy. I had this yesterday. I opened the show yesterday, Ryan and Alex, with 3 things to live a great life. Okay, number 1, keep your house clean. All right. Now that's not just literally your house. Like, you want to keep your house clean for sure, but the house. You know what I mean? Keep the house clean. That's number 1, because you can have as much success as you want. If this isn't clean, if this mindset doesn't have that energy and that enthusiasm and that passion and have the confidence and courage, keep the house clean. Number 2 is protect your health.
Yep.
Right? Protect. Listen, the old saying is you never think about your health until you're sick, and then it's the only thing you think about, right?
Yep.
You know? So protect your health, and the third one is increase your value to the world. Increase your value to the world. If you go and you keep your house clean and you can protect your health and you are increasing your value to the world, you're going to live a great life.
Without a doubt.
What do you guys think?
I like those 3 steps. Keep
Yeah.
it nice and easy. I mean, I'm really big in value. My
Right.
thing of like how I got to where I was always over providing value to the people around me and discounting myself to put myself in position to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm all about that, especially number 3.
Awesome. Yeah. What do you think, Alex?
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I think on the learning side, I have a little process that I like to go over real quick.
Do it.
So to learn faster.
Yeah.
Like who here wants to learn faster?
Yeah.
Or retain more information, right?
Sure.
So, and this is through my experience and how I was learning, because I try to read a book a week. But in the past, I was reading it to just understand and comprehend.
Right.
So for those that don't know, like understanding and comprehension, like to comprehend is to say, I get it. Like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. To understand is like, oh, I totally get it. That totally makes sense. But just to understand and comprehend something doesn't mean you're going to get results, right? Because the real results are going to come with knowledge.
Yeah.
And knowledge is taking what you understand and comprehend and taking action.
That's it,
right?
brother.
So once you take action,
Come on.
then it turns from I get it to I know. Like I know, and I know because I do, right? And the only way to know is to actually do. So a lot of you guys are learning just to understand and comprehend. And I say this a lot where it's like people want to know just enough about a subject so they can be relevant in those conversations. And that's not completely bad, but I know we want better for you guys.
Right.
We want you guys to actually get results. So go from the comprehension, understanding to knowledge, and then how you're going to get the wisdom, which is level number 4, is by doing in time. And
Yep.
And how I label wisdom is I teach. I know.
Yep.
I can teach.
Yep.
Right. That's what makes us
Yep.
credible to be
Yep.
speaking into your guys' life.
Yeah.
Because we've gone through all those phases. So,
Love
just to sum that up, learn to teach. That's like my phrase. Like,
Yep.
learn to teach.
Yep.
If you can learn something with the intention of teaching it, you're going to be able to retain it at such a higher level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it. Alex, we've got a lot of the audience is real estate entrepreneurs. Some of them have never done a deal. All right. So as they're getting into this thing, what do you think is the best approach to crack this thing open, to get to the first step of this, which is do a deal? You want to pop that up again, Matt? Do a deal. How do you?
I would say it's probably a little bit different than Bandit Signs in 2015.
Yeah, I
right?
wouldn't start there. But,
Right.
Hey, Brent, what does your shirt say?
Talk to people, baby.
That's my number one.
TTP, right?
That's number one for me.
Yeah.
That's number one. In my business now, our number one strategy is online marketing. So
Yeah.
specifically PPC.
Talk
But-
about this, because I felt like you cracked the SEO code and PPC code like
3
4
years,
yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what really blew up my business was talking to people.
Right.
We went from 12 deals to 52 deals the next year with 3 cold callers.
Right.
Right. And it was all cold calling. We didn't do any other marketing. I didn't have a website. People, sellers would ask us like, hey, what's your website? And we would just say, hey, we don't have one, but you can talk to our title company. They're reputable. They're going to put a good word for us.
It's a great.
So I would leverage the title company on that. But yeah, talking to people, cold calling blew the business up.
Yep.
And then by year 3, we're doing 100+ deals, all cold calling.
Yep.
And mid-year 3, I started to do online marketing. So I spent $40K in 3 months on ads, and it produced $30K in deals. So it's a negative $10,000 loss.
Right.
So, but then I'm like looking at Carlos and Sal, they're crushing it on PPC. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So I go through all my leads, and the problem was that my team was treating them like cold call leads.
Yep.
Right. So they
Yep.
were.
Oh.
Yeah. So with the online.
Little bit slower.
Yep.
Yeah. So here, I don't want this to get away from people because this was a huge lesson for me. Do not treat your online marketing leads like cold calling leads. Right now, you should have some urgency in those cold call leads.
Of course.
But a lot of the times, it takes a day or a few days to get them back on the phone.
Yep.
With online marketing leads, they're contacting you, so you want to call them immediately.
Inbound versus outbound.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with PPC, so we turned it on again with a different type of energy and intention. So now we just have a 5-minute rule. So any lead that comes, They have to call within those 5 minutes. And if it's a live call, it better be answered. Or it goes like I'm like the 6th or 5th person in line. So if it reaches me, I'm freaking. I don't discipline my team, but I'm like letting them know, hey, this is not right.
You're like, hey guys,
Yeah.
what's going on?
But we've been doing well with online marketing. So I bought a domain, which I unfortunately lost to another big company.
You did?
Yeah. So the
I remember
name,
you going through that.
Yeah, the name is offerhome.com.
Right.
Paid $10,000 for the domain, invested into the website. Spent a few $100,000 on SEO, and then PPC. We're doing $30K a month on it. So it was it was solid. I mean, we have great reviews and everything. So I lost that domain, but we have a different one now. So now we're doing PPC in 8 different states.
Awesome.
So,
Do you have a state that is, getting further ahead than the others? Are they all kind of evenly spaced? What does that look like?
they're pretty evenly spaced.
Okay.
If I were to choose like out of the 8, I'll tell you guys my 8. So
Yeah.
it's Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, California.
You just
Oregon,
do the whole state?
Washington. Yeah, statewide marketing.
All right.
So like my cost per lead is like $60.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But Florida and Georgia are our best states. Yeah.
Florida and Georgia.
Yeah. And then
Awesome.
anything in Phoenix flies off here. So
How do you pick a market?
for me, I choose. I mean, okay. So I mean, my advice is always like to do deals in your backyard to start with. But for me, I look at where the funds are buying. So that's our strategy.
How do you know where the funds are buying?
The highest rental rate versus medium home value.
Yep.
So like in Georgia, like you'll have a $200K home that rents for like $2,500.
I know.
Right? It's
It
ridiculous.
seems crazy to us. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Phoenix, it's kind of different now, but it was the case a few years back.
Yeah.
So just really strong rental markets is what we're after.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you thought about going?
Yeah, so we actually soft expanded, but we're in Texas. We've done deals in Texas, Vegas, Florida, Atlanta as well. I've done a handful in California, and I hate that state, so I'm not really into that market myself.
You've done some California.
Yeah,
Big
I've done
deals
a
in
lot of
California,
deals
right?
in the Bay Area. So that's been prime market, and then we've done a lot of SoCal stuff too. But California, like we had to pay a tenant $25K last month to move out.
Right.
So you're dealing with that stuff.
You're dealing
but
with
we
that a
made
lot,
60, 65K on the assignment. So
Sure.
For sure.
for us, it's worth it.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's open it up.
let's do it.
All right. Come on, Albert. Go ahead.
What's up, broski?
Yeah, Albert,
Yeah.
we miss you, bud. It's
know.
Ryan's
My
business
partner.
partner that's usually sitting
Miss
in,
you
the,
too,
in
man.
the hot seat. Yes, exactly. Albert, we miss you, bud. Have fun in Utah. What's he doing in Utah?
He's partying it up at a wedding. Yeah.
Come on. You're missing the show for a wedding. It's Thursday. Who gets married on a Thursday? Albert, you don't have to show up till the day of the wedding. What are we doing? No, I'm just kidding. Albert, we miss you. We'll see you next week, buddy. Here we go. I'm in the Esparza. I'm in the Phoenix market. It's really saturated. Do you guys recommend me to start in a different market?
I think Alex hit that one pretty well.
Yeah, look, there's 1,000+ wholesale deals a month going down, right?
Right.
What makes you think you can't get 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5, right?
And I would even say 1 or 2 deals. Correct me if I'm wrong here,
Yeah.
but average spread 10K, 2 deals a month is pretty life changing for a lot
absolutely.
of people.
No,
For everybody.
Absolutely. So I would focus. My advice would be to focus on specific zip codes, like 3, 4 zip codes.
There you go.
Get really familiar with it. Know what people are buying it for cash, and target every single house there. Our average deal in Phoenix is closer to like 40K now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're 42.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 42 here. Esparza. This is our biggest year that we've had, and it's Phoenix. So, what I'd say is, don't listen to what other people are telling you. I have found in this business, you have to test everything because you will hallucinate whatever you want. And if you hallucinate that there's no deals, that's what you're going to get. If you hallucinate that you're going to do 100 deals here and you're going to make $4 million because you average 42, you're going to make it happen. I'm just telling you, it might take you 10 years. It might take you 3 years. It might take you 5, whatever it is, but who cares? Like, the opportunity is absolutely bananas. There are more properties than there are investors. That's for sure. The day that every single ugly property is, changed into a beautiful, beautiful city where everything's pristine and everything's updated, that will never happen.
Never.
That's a fantasy. So there are plenty of deals, but I would say Alex hit it right on the head. Find a specific area that you become obsessed with. I would go out and find the 1,000 worst houses within like a 5 or 10 mile radius of where you live, depending on where you live. I mean, if you're in Paradise Valley, that'd be different. But in 5 or 10 miles around where you live, find the 1,000 ugliest houses and be absolutely obsessed with them.
Yep.
I'm just saying, what do you guys think? Okay, if they get 1,000 properties, they go obsessed. They're door knocking, they're calling, they're handwriting, they're leaving notes, they're finding them on social media, DMing them. All 1,000 obsessed. How many deals do you think that would trickle down to in a year?
Oh, in a year, I would say a minimum.
10?
Yeah, I was gonna say 10.
Yeah, 1%. Yeah.
10?
10.
10 deals?
10 minimum.
What's the average in Phoenix?
40K pop.
And let's just say you're just getting started. That means that maybe you have to JV. Maybe you have to JV with somebody. Maybe you have to get in and split 50-50 for a little
So you
bit
make
and get
200.
that deal done. So you've got 20 and you're learning the business.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
It changed my life.
It's not. I'm telling you, it's changed all of our lives. We're all in it. We've all done it in this market.
Yeah, proof of concept is real. And yeah, there's so many deals happening in Phoenix. So yeah, go after it, man.
Yeah, I
Go
say it all
after
the time. I mean, people literally. I'm telling you, guys. People were telling me in 2004. Oh, you guys. Getting in at the wrong time, bro. I'm telling you, the 90s were bad. Oh, the 90s were incredible. Oh, it's too late. It's too saturated now. This is 2004.
Oh, man.
Okay? This is 2004. Oh, the market's going too hot in 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's going bananas. Oh, there's not enough room. Everybody's jumping in here. There's 40,000 licensed real estate agents. There's all these investors. Every real estate coach lives here. All these other things. And still, I'm standing here before you, letting you know that the opportunity is limitless. I don't care what market you're in. I really do. I believe that. If you focus on it, you'll get it.
100%.
Yep. Nathan,
right.
Go ahead.
From Nathan, I am attempting to squeeze myself into people's schedules by calling at the right times. I call around lunchtime, 9 a.m. to 11 and 3 to 7. After work, what time would you guys suggest?
Awesome.
So for us, I mean, we call pretty much all day long.
Yeah, same here.
I would say that if you're looking for specific times, it's just about tracking what your numbers are. So if you are tracking your numbers from 9 to 11 and 3 to 7, just be consistent with it for at least 30 days and see what the results are. But personally, I just like calling all day long.
Yeah, we'll call, morning, mid-afternoon, and afternoon. And then we double call. So, we'll call. If they don't answer, we'll call again.
Right back, yeah.
And sometimes, normally most people do answer. Well, I mean, not most, because sellers, little,
10%.
Yeah, but you do get a boost in answers. So call. If they don't answer, call back immediately. And then if they ever ask anything, just say, hey, I thought the call didn't go through. And just continue with the call.
Right.
But normally they never ask. So we're placing 6 calls a day during the day.
Yep. And I was talking to Brent about this last week, and so I know his opinion on this, but I'm curious of yours. I would say that a lot of this business, especially with cold calling going direct to seller, comes down to timing. Would you say that timing is a big factor with it could even be said as like
timing
luck.
on when they're ready to sell.
Yeah, when they're ready.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It really is. That's why follow-up and building up the pipeline is so important.
Yep, for sure.
I know we're still doing cold calling, but when I had 25 callers at one point, and we're getting 80, 100 leads a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
even
at that volume, you would get your, people that were ready to go then and there. But that's like 1 out of 200 people, 300 people.
Yep.
Most of it were follow-up. So I do agree with the timing is everything. And then one thing, if a seller tells you to call back 4 weeks from now, call back 2 weeks and just say, hey, I know, address it right away. Hey, I know you told me to follow up a month from now. Just checking to see if anything's changed or if I can do anything to serve you, or help or, so by that, we learned that the hard way because we had a deal in Phoenix. The guy told us to call out right after Christmas.
Yeah.
And then Carlos and Sal had the same lead. We didn't know that they had the same lead.
Sure.
They called right before Christmas,
Of course.
locked up the deal, and then we lose an 80K assignment.
Yep.
But I mean, at least it went to them. But this was my first year, so 80K.
That's a huge. Oh my gosh.
So
now,
big pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we just check in more periodically.
Yeah, Nathan. If you look at the stats, literally, there's only 3 to 5% difference in times when the sun is up. Okay, so with our business, it's call when the sun's up, and so that usually gets us really good 7 to 10% contact rate. It's been closer to 7, just because of there's just more people calling, more industries calling. Just it's not just real estate. There's just a lot more people that are calling people. So the people are kind of not picking up as much. It's gone down about 20-30% in there, but 7 to 10% still is a great opportunity to talk to a lot of people. And listen, the best time to call is when you can be consistent. That's it. When it fits into your life. You've got responsibilities, you got things going on. It needs to be consistent. The word sustainable should be the most important word that you write on your wall. Sustainable effort, sustainable action. You do that, and I'm telling you, it's impossible for you to lose if you sustain enough action, enough effort in this business, and talk to enough people.
All right.
Glenn!
Is that the belt? Is it?
All
belt time?
right,
That's
it's
the
bell
bell
time.
time. Let's go.
You want to ring? Well, let's pull it over here. Alex,
Let Alex
come
go.
on,
Oh,
break.
yeah.
Yes.
Let's go, Glenn.
Glenn, congratulate 37,000. You just made more than the average salary of the richest country in the world. The base salary is $33,000 here in the United States. You made that on one conversation that you had with a property owner. Congratulations, Glenn. Now I need you to push it up.
So question, all right. So not knowing anything about Glenn's business.
Yeah.
What do we advise him to do with that 37,000?
Oh boy, I mean, I'll let you go first because I'm gonna just.
So I would say that what we do is we usually separate taxes. So I'm always gonna take a little.
Yeah, I made that mistake my first year.
Right.
A big tax bill. Yeah.
So I put it in a separate bank account. So I usually put about 15% in there, and that might even be low. Talk to a CPA. But then out of that remaining, I usually take about like 40%, and I would put that right back into marketing. And then the other like 30% I'd keep as like reserves, and then I'd live off the remaining like 20-30%.
Yep.
Bam, yeah, that's spot on. Yeah, don't think it get better than that.
Yeah, Glenn, keep it.
Yeah.
I mean, keep the money. I mean, here's the thing. Depending on, I assume, if you say thanks for everything, Brent, that you've drank the Kool-Aid and you're part of the, picking up the phone and calling people and getting deals that way, continue to do that.
Yep.
Don't
spend it all.
And
Don't
once you
spend
get
it
to the point where you do 30K, the old Sean Terry rule, 30K a month for 3 straight months, then you're allowed to hire somebody. All right? But before you get that consistency, you need to invest in yourself. You need to make sure that you keep that money. You need to make sure that you forget about that money literally. Well, it's closing on the 29th. So the 29th, celebrate. The 30th, you forget about it. I'm telling you, start every day at zero. Zero money in your account, zero opportunities, zero deals. That's going to keep that fire in your belly high and keep that hunger really, really, really strong. So congratulations, Glenn. Now listen, push that. We got to get you to the 50K club. So push that up 13 grand, get it to 50K, and join the 50K club, brother. Go ahead, Alex.
Hi, I'm 22 and want to create a better life for me and my daughter. Can someone mentor me with wholesaling? I watch tons of videos, but I still need guidance.
There you go.
What would you recommend?
So it goes back to my levels of learning example, right? So if you're watching a lot of videos, you're watching them just to understand and comprehend. You have to apply some action so you can get the knowledge, and knowledge is where results are, where they come from. So for guidance, I would say find an accountability partner.
Love it.
In your area or in a Facebook group. There is tons. If you don't have one or know where to find one, just send me a message on Instagram. I have plenty of people that are willing to help in your market. Not sure where she is, but or Angel. Is it Angel? Yeah, okay. Not where he is. So yeah, I mean, I would apply action. I would apply action with accountability. That is, a recipe for success. And one thing you got to realize is you're 22, right? So never compare yourself, not even to 23, 24-year-olds or Brent or anybody, because 22 is an amazing age to start in this real estate game. And I always told myself, I'm like, even if it takes me, at 18, I said, even if it takes me 7 years, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to be a millionaire. That came a lot sooner, but you are in a great age to just learn and take action and begin to make something out of yourself with this real estate industry, and just don't quit. you don't want to look back, 10, 15, 20 years from now and say, man, I wish I would have stuck to real estate.
Right.
Alex,
So-
how many times do you hear that too from people that are like twice our age, that they're like, if I could go back and change one thing, I wish I would have started sooner.
Yeah. I tell them the same thing. I'm like, man, I wish I started at 13.
Right? I know. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Too.
But yeah, I mean, 22 is a great age. What do you guys think?
Well, that's what like Mahoney said yesterday. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time?
Now.
Right now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't start. So, Angel, here's the deal. The guidance that you need is going to come from the experience that you get. I'm telling you, like, you know enough. Find an ugly house. Get the property owner's info. There's a ton of different ways to do that. If you want to do it for free, just go to your county recorder's office or go to your tax assessor's office. You Google it online. Tax assessor. Put in the address. You're going to get the owner's information. Get their phone number. Call them up. See if they would consider an offer in their property. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Surround yourself with people that are doing this business, because that's the biggest problem, Angel. I mean, the biggest hurdle that we face is our crew growing up didn't do real estate. Our crew growing up aren't entrepreneurs. They're often at 22 years old. Everybody that you know that you've grown up with and that you're really cool and tight with is all over the place. They're doing all sorts of things. They're starting new careers. They're starting families. They're getting married. They're doing all this crazy stuff, right? You need a central core of people around you that are doing this business. You can find it. You can squat up with people in the comments of any one of the shows that we put on 3 times a week, on Monday in the hotline, Wednesday with the investing show, and then here on Thursday with this show. So squat up and just take the action. Listen, nobody wants you to go, hey, what do I do? You know what to do. If you want to get the guidance, go out there and take action and say, hey, listen, I'm making all these calls. I feel like there's something here, but I'm not really sure. Can you help? Yep. If you're proactive, you are a magnet. That's why we have Magneto painting somewhere. You're a magnet. I mean, you truly are a magnet. If you're going with energizing enthusiasm and being proactive, you are going to bring people into your life, Angel, just like Alex has done, just as all of us have done. So, there you go.
Get after it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Right. So from DJ, how to get over the fear of cold calling. So I can tell you the way that I did it was the first team that I started on at 18 years old. As much as I hated it, it was a blessing in disguise. I was cold calling 10 to 12 hours a day. So they would basically set me up with a dialer, and I had a whole system, and I just had to go through it. So for me, my best advice may not be what would work for you, but it's the best thing I have on the table. It's just getting over it by doing and understanding that whatever it is that you're scared of, I mean, I always say nothing good's going to be coming when you're comfortable. So what is that? It's the dreams are on the other side of fear.
That's it.
So
That's it. Alex?
I would add have a what's it called, so like Beyonce has a certain identity.
Oh, it's almost like a second personality type thing.
But
like,
it's
Like an alter ego?
alter ego.
yes,
There, that's the
yes,
word I'm looking
yes.
for. So yeah, that really helped me out. Right when I hopped on the phones, I was somebody else. I put my
love it.
Superman cape on.
Yeah.
So you got to get rid of, not rid, but you have to be able to step out of your current identity, which is fear based, into something that is confident based. So I for me, like, I thought about different things, specifically superheroes or something like that. But really,
I love that.
You got to step out your current identity and just pretend you're somebody else on the phone.
That's
right?
awesome.
So, and I learned that more through like psychology on like having
Absolutely.
like different personality types, and it's not something crazy. I'm not trying to sound crazy, but but it allows you to
it's true
to step into a different zone. So like as a father or a business owner, I'm not a father, but I'm trying to make the example. So you have to have your business hat on, you have to have your dad hat on, you have to have your husband hat on, and then you have to have your child hat on to be able to play with your kids.
Sure.
Right? So like those are all different identities. So if you can create a new one for cold calling, it
That's
does
confident.
really well.
That is beautiful. And remember, DJ, you're not afraid of cold calling. You're afraid of people being mean to you. That's all it is. And listen, the faster that you can understand that they're just living their lives, they're not going to like somehow have a tracker on their phone, find out your current location, drive to your house and shoot you in the head. Okay?
That's
it's not going to
case,
happen.
yeah.
That's the worst case scenario.
Worst case, yeah.
That's the worst case, right? That's the absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But what really happens is they go, no, click. and then you move on.
Yep.
Rejection is hard, okay? Like people being mean and having a bad like negativity towards you is hard. You know what's awesome? When you find that 10% of people that will have a conversation with you, that do need some help, that do need that aren't going to make the decision to get themselves out of a situation, and you help them out. I'm telling you, focus on that. Focus on the effect, not on the cause. It's everything's cause and effect here. You're thinking way too much of the cause and how it's making you feel, as opposed to what value you can provide to that 1, 2, 3, 50, 100 people a year that you truly support and build an incredible life from. So, DJ, it's not cold calling that you're afraid of. And if you are, usually, it's because you don't know what to say and you've never had the experience. So you can get the scripts. You can get the scripts online. TTPscript.com or TTPinsider.com has a ton of downloads. And then it's just putting in the work. It's just putting in the work. And then you build it up. And I'm telling you this, DJ, after you talk to 1,000 strangers and ask them if they would consider an offer on their property, you can talk to anybody about anything.
Absolutely.
It's going to bleed over to every part of your life. And it's going to be a huge skill that most people won't do.
Oh, and it's a skill that sets you apart for forever.
Forever!
If I lose everything, I can talk to people. Right. Like you can.
I could drop you anywhere in the world,
Anywhere.
and you're going to make money.
Yeah.
You're going to provide
by
value.
that ability. And then just a mindset shift too is like we were back in the day, because we were 18, 19, like my team. Like we were scared to hop on the phone.
Sure.
But it was something that had to be done, right?
Yep.
So for us, it was we just made it a little bit different, right? So every no, like we would get excited.
Sure.
Because it was closer to that yes.
Absolutely.
And we found that for every 100 no's, we get one deal.
That's it.
So like we would literally tally up the no's, and then by the time it was pretty accurate too.
Yep.
By the time you get
Now it's 1 out of 200. I mean, around the country.
this was 5 years ago.
If you talk to 200 homeowners, you'll get a deal.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
And then
it takes about 20 hours.
And then if you're new, I recommend to cold call for sell by owners to get that practice. So treat that like practice time. Like
Where do you
shoot
find,
around in the gym.
Where do they find
Zillow.
Perfect.
Zillow.com for
and
sell
you can
by
literally
owners.
filter it.
You can filter, call them, and get those practice shots in before you hop on your purchase list, what you're spending money on.
That's the second time this week, guys, right? That Lauren Hardy does that as well for her virtual wholesaling with her team. Yep. Awesome. Solomane, I've been working on getting my first deal in 6 months now, and I'm struggling. I also have $9K in business credit. What's the best way to use that to help me get deals and to build the business? I think the first thing is what is working on getting your first deal for 6 months? Does that mean that you're making calls? Because I'm telling you, you should be getting a deal every 20 hours that you're making calls. If you're not, then I'm real curious on what you're saying to the people. I'm real curious if you're actively listening when they're talking to them. I'm really curious to know how your tone and your pace is. But is that 6 months of consistency, or is that just here and there? You're doing a little bit each day, which is fine. It'll just take longer. 9,000 in business credit. I would get PropStream. I would get Deal Machine, and I would just skip trace. I would skip trace.
Would you recommend a dialer for somebody?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
100%. I mean, I would. Unless you want to just go and knock doors. It's going to take a long time, but it's completely free. Unless you want to knock doors, get the phone numbers and call the ugliest houses that are around you. What do you think? 9K business credit. What do you do?
Yeah, I would say the same. Systems-wise, it's pretty straightforward for me. My model, obviously, as you know, is a little bit more of the MLS, working with realtors in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was looking to go direct to seller, which is what we've been transitioning to recently, is I would do the same. Pull a list, and I'd be getting dialers, PropStream, whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. The system's perfectly said. I would focus on money producing activities, right?
Yep.
So I feel like a lot of people, when starting, including myself, I was like doing the wrong things. I was focused on business cards and door knocking. I'm not saying door knocking.
I was going to say logos, brands, names, LLCs.
So for me, like, if I were to go back, I would just focus on money producing activities, and that's specifically like every single day, I just have a daily lead goal. So by talking to people.
Love it.
Every single day, it's generate 3 to 5 leads. Make that your goal. And what's going to happen is if you stay consistent with that, those leads will lead to a deal. and then that deal leads to revenue. That revenue leads back to more marketing, more leads. So eventually, you have to get through that hurdle of getting your first deal, and then once you rinse and repeat that a few times, then you build up the budget to then hire out cold callers or acquisition managers, and then duplicate yourself. So focus 90% of your time on money producing activities. 90% of your day should be talking to people, running comparables and giving offers. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no business
That's the
cards.
blueprint right there.
Love it.
Don't even look for cash buyers. That'll come.
Once you have a deal, I mean, you could sell it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dominique, how do you guys prevent cash buyers from undercutting us? We had 2 cash buyers who already went directly to our seller's house after getting all the info. Yeah, we know that. It has happened in our market. Usually those people don't last very long.
Yep.
Obviously, we remove all of those people from the lists so that you're not that they're not seeing that. What we do, Dominique, is if it's a really, really, really juicy deal, I'm going to close on that. I'm not telling anybody about it. I'm going to get that thing closed. I'm going to own it, and then I'll sell it. If you're not in the position to do that, or you don't have a financial partner to do that, or a hard money lender, or somebody that's going to be able to fund that deal for you, I would take your best deals, and I would pick up the phone, and I would call actual buyers and not blast it out, okay? Because as soon, and the other thing is this: if you're posting to like Facebook Marketplace, if you're doing it to Craigslist, you are going to every time somebody's going to go after that deal, whether it be a real estate agent or whether it be another investor. If you put it out on I'm going to put it out on public and just hope somebody snags this thing, you're going to be in real trouble. What do you guys think? Any experience there?
Yeah, without a doubt. So for us, I always say, like, once we have a property under contract, I'm not really too concerned with someone going around me because I know that I have the ability to purchase it with my contract being fully executed.
Yep.
I also know that when I get a property under contract, our numbers are usually good enough that I am prepared to close on it if need be and take it down, and then we don't really have people go around us. But also, we don't blast them out too often, as Brent had said.
Yep.
We go direct to our cash buyers. I really only work with about like 15 to 20 of my top buyers, and I sell most of my deals every single time to the same handful of people.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, great advice. We don't for really juicy deals. We buy them.
Yeah,
right.
We buy them.
Right.
Yeah, we'll buy them immediately, or we'll send them to people that we've done business in the past with.
Yes,
for sure.
So repeat buyers. But yeah, if you have a really good deal, I would avoid the Facebook Marketplace. That's like our 7th thing that we do if we don't sell it.
Last case.
Yeah,
Right.
last case.
Yeah.
But go to those relationships that you already know that conduct solid business. And then another thing for like markets that we don't have relationships, we just look at cash transactions in that area. So people that bought in that area, and then we'll really vet them. We'll even send them an NDA at times. So if it's a really good deal. So
What's your dispo process?
Like
you get a deal. Let's just say it's a 35K deal. You know what I mean? Like it's not like 150. It's like 35. It's that good. It's a nice one, but it's one that you want to get as many eyeballs on it as possible. What do you do?
Yeah. So we first we'll text blast our VIP buyers.
Awesome.
So we'll do.
How many people
Scipio.
are VIP?
We have 250.
250.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
solid, yeah,
Perfect.
250 in
Love it.
Phoenix, and
Yep.
then we have different pockets for different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll email blast to our list through an investor lift. But a lot right before like text blasting them and emailing, we're calling people that we know are paying top dollar in that area.
Yep.
And then we're working with a lot of funds, so we already know kind of where they're at.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are your funds part of that primo list, your VIP list, or is this a whole different?
It's separate. So if the house
that's
meets
what
the
I thought.
criteria,
Yeah.
then yeah. But if it's a regular
Because they have a
house,
box that they want to buy in,
they don't
box,
buy
and if
everything.
they fit it, they'll buy it. And they buy them.
Yeah.
they buy them. Yeah.
They buy them like
Extremely
retail,
well.
basically,
Yeah.
right?
Do you sell most of your deals to your VIP list, or is it through Investor Lift? Because I'm pretty familiar with Investor Lift, and it's basically like you're all kind of sharing cash buyers, correct?
Yeah, so everybody like chips
Yeah,
in their list.
Yeah.
In Phoenix, I mean, we've had a solid list for like 5 years. So
VIPs.
yeah, VIPs. But in other markets, yeah, Investor Lift has been huge.
Awesome.
And they're a solid product, but
Yeah. Awesome.
No affiliates there.
Good question. Edgar, for a tight beginner budget, what would be the minimum setup that you would suggest? Tools, apps,
Ooh,
dialers,
let me go
et
first.
cetera.
All right. So, realtors. Dude, this is like what I was teaching. If you have not seen that episode, go back a couple of them. I think it was episode 2 and 3 of this show, correct?
Yep.
MLS? Okay.
Yep.
Find agents. I always say what I teach is that the hardest part of the traditional business, being a realtor, is finding a client. The hardest part of the investment side is finding a deal. If you were to go on the investment side and trying to find a deal, go find the people that are actually in this business that are looking at homes all day long. You go and you build an army of realtors and you have them all be basically bird dogs for you, going and finding properties and writing offers on your behalf. Your dollars should be costing you zero.
Right.
So I would start doing that. That's typically what I tell people to do. Then I say get a real estate license, then invest into systems. However, if you weren't wanting to get a license, go build the relationships with the realtors, get a deal with zero marketing dollars so you're not in debt, and then transition and start spending money based on the deal that you get from the realtor. Boom.
That's spot on.
I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Peace out,
drop the
guys.
mic.
Love it. Yeah.
See you guys next week.
I love it. Go ahead. I mean, you got all the tools.
Yeah.
I mean, let's.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's give them some variety.
okay, so if you have like $500, let's
Yeah.
just say 500.
Perfect.
I would drive for dollars and
Yep.
skip trace that list,
Yep.
and I wouldn't even buy a dialer. I would cold call it from my phone.
Correct.
So that's a $500 budget, and half of that's probably going to be gas because you're
Right.
only going to be skip tracing a few hundred records.
Love it.
So that is like my go-to. You know,
Love that.
If I had $500, I'd make $30K in a month. I would do that exactly every single day.
Love
That's
that.
it. Perfect. Alejandro's like, hey, you want to answer? They did it. They did it. They answered. I know.
All right, so
Rachel.
Rachel, Alex, I see your notebook in front of you. Do you carry that everywhere? What's in there? You have your buyers list there. I don't have my buyers list, but look, I am a student of the game.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Every podcast, every interview I go on, I'm writing notes.
Yeah,
right?
me
So
too. Yeah.
I'm writing notes.
I love it.
And then I have, I have 2 mentors that I have consistent calls with, so I'm always documenting everything. But at home, I use the same notebook every time, but I have probably like 10 of them from like the last 2 years. And it's pretty awesome to go back 2 years back and see where I was. And then just all that, like the month that I was explaining earlier, like I have it all documented.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really awesome to be able to reflect on that. And then
You have that March?
Yeah.
May of last year.
Oh, sorry, May?
Yeah.
Really?
I have
How's
like,
that looking
This
back?
happened to me. This is how I feel. And then
Yeah.
and so it's awesome.
Cool looking back. I keep all of them. I mean, Alejandro knows. We've got stacks of these things in the office, and I just flip through it, and I go back, and I'm like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we have our family mastermind. Like,
Yeah.
I got some notes on you.
Yeah.
Where you at?
I've got some notes from our from the Brandon Simmons
there you are.
Go
See?
Giver. There it is.
TTP.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Impressive, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Rachel. Yeah, I think there's something magical when you put pen to paper. I really do. I think it's also magical when I go back. It's almost like the trophies in my house are the books that I've read with highlights and notes written into it, and the ears, you dog ear them on the pages that you really want to go to, and you star it and whatever else. I think that the problem is for like 2 years I kept giving away books. They're like I was like, oh, I gotta keep these. I'll buy somebody a book on Amazon. Or something.
Amazon it.
Yeah.
To them.
Yep.
Yeah, I recommend it though. Life changing.
Yep. Angelita. Go
All
ahead.
right. Does Texas require you to have a real estate license in order to wholesale? How do I find this? I don't believe so.
Nope.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, we do deals all the time.
Yeah.
But if for anybody just in different states, quick, easy way to find out is call your title company or closing attorney, and they'll let you know like if you do or not.
Yep.
So leverage experts to get answers.
Yeah.
Love that.
Eric.
There we
Oh,
go.
come on, Eric.
That bell.
There we go.
Boom.
13.5 in the
Let's
Houston
go.
market. Let's go.
H-Town?
I
Boom.
love it. Congratulations. $13,500 in the Houston market.
Houston's a fun city. man.
Absolutely fantastic, Eric. Keep the momentum and keep that money. Keep it. All right? Listen, as soon as you get a 5-figure check in your account and you look at it and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible."
Yep.
I'm like a millionaire now. Now I can buy all these things and do all these things. Keep it. I'm telling you, keep the money. Keep it. Invest it back in. Invest it back in. Don't get too crazy with that. I want you to keep it for you and your family and your life and everything like that. But I want that mostly going to investment and not into spending. Cool.
Preach.
Yep. Maurice, there he is. Once a property is set for a tax auction date, is it possible to still get the property under contract and get it sold prior to that date?
If it's similar to like a foreclosure, I haven't done one of these ones, but yeah, I would say it should, correct me if I'm wrong here, both of you guys, but yeah, you should be able to get it as soon as it's not on the auction date or after it, you should be good to go.
Yeah, I think there's also a redemption period.
That sounds right, yeah.
In different states.
I think the sellers to go for, they call, is it title or is it lending, mortgage company? Who do they call for that, for the redemption? Because I know there's a process that they have to go through.
Yeah, I know. Man, I've heard of this at masterminds, and
yeah,
I thought it was closing, like a certain attorney that does it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the state. I mean, some states have it where you have a redemption for like a year.
Or
Some of
6
them
years.
it's 3 years. I think Oregon's like 3 years.
Yeah, that's where I heard it from.
Like, what are you going to do? Buy a tax default? You're like moved into a house and somebody.
Like excess proceeds.
I mean, so it's really interesting, Maurice. But here's the thing: just make sure that what you're offering pays off what they owe. Right? I mean, it's the same thing. It needs to have equity. So as long as it gets paid off before the actual auction date, that's what it is. I mean, they're not tying that thing up and saying, "Hey, we don't want the money that's owed us." They want the money that's owed us.
Right.
They don't want to take it through the tax auction because there's fees that that needs to be paid through that the state is going to take a hit on. The Treasury is going to take a hit on if it's property tax. I assume it's property tax auction and not like some sort of income tax type of thing. So, yeah, if you can get it before any of these auctions, if there's an auction date, you get that thing done before. You can even get the auction date postponed if you let them know that you're working to get this thing done, and let whoever is handling the auction
work with you.
know. Yeah. Good to see you, Maurice. Amigos, when should we consider hiring VAs for cold calling?
I think we might all have different answers here on this one.
We do. I'm certain. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go first. I think that you should know the process before you delegate the process.
Yep.
So that is my personal take. I have met people that hire and then just delegate it fully. It's a 50-50 because how do you train somebody in which you don't know anything about? Right. So it's going to be hard to train somebody on how to use a cold calling platform if you've never used it. So go through that process yourself. Even though it's uncomfortable and maybe time consuming, but you definitely want to know what to do so then you can teach what to do to VAs.
Right. I agree with that 100%. So I made the mistake of I hired the VAs without actually doing a lot of the cold calling myself, and then I also didn't have the systems and processes to back the VAs. So I messed up with that. I would say that the other thing that is a very big nugget that I'll drop here about when you're considering hiring a VA, make sure you're doing it for the right reason. You should not be hiring this VA to just take cold calling away from your plate so that you can go around and play and do all these lunch meetings and do all these like fun money expenses going out activities. You want to make sure that if you're hiring a VA, it's so that you're delegating a task for you to be able to go and scale your business elsewhere. Maybe it's you doing dispo primarily, but then working the hot leads. Maybe it's you then jumping into a sales manager position and managing the VAs, and then you're going to work the hot leads that come in while dispoing the deals. Figure out what that structure looks like. And I would say that more importantly, it's just going to be like, make sure that you're providing value to the VA. So don't learn from my mistakes. Don't be the guy that just goes and gets the systems without actually, like Alex said, knowing how to operate it yourself. So
Edgar, here's the deal. Again, 30 grand, 3 straight months. But the reason that you should be doing it yourself first, and it's the experience, absolutely. What I've found is the most important is how good are your lists? How do you know how good, if you're pulling the right lists, if you're not understanding, if you're not having these conversations, right? Because what's going to happen is you hire these guys, they're going to be totally trained. Let's say you go with what, Call Geeks?
Call Geeks.
Call Geeks.
Yep.
You go with Call Geeks, and they've got somebody trained, and they got somebody managed, and they got somebody, they're only as good as your list.
Right.
And are you comfortable enough? Do you feel secure enough to know that you've pulled the right list in your area that's going to get you the results that you want? Well, they're going to give you reports, and they're going to say, well, listen, I'm talking to a lot of people, but they're they just don't want to sell, or they want too much or something like this, and you're going to be like, that VA is terrible. Alex, I want a new one. Give me, the other guy or other gal, right?
Or a bad review.
Right?
Yeah, or a bad review or whatever else, right? Like something like that, and it's not the case. I think that the important thing is understand which lists are banging really hard in your area and really doing well, and then you can make your VAs way more successful because you're giving them the opportunity to actually win. All right?
I love that.
Yeah.
I think you got
Well
a good 3-step process.
So what lists are banging right now?
Well, driving for dollars always. We love the driving for dollars. We love going after multifamily that are older multifamilies that have been owned for a while.
Do you target a lot of individual owned,
Yes.
like non-LLC?
Well, listen, as soon as Batch opened up with their LLC search, you get about 30% of trusts in LLCs, and that took that was a good bump.
Wow.
Because a lot of people weren't doing that. But for the most part, it's coming from individuals. It's coming from individuals that own it. You can even filter it down to out-of-state owners that own multifamily that were built before 1990, and they've owned it over 7 years.
Wow, yeah.
Boom, right? And there's probably in our market 2,500 to 3,000 properties that are like that. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Without a doubt.
So, there you go. Getting good questions. Hamilton.
Very good.
Go ahead.
When you cold call, do you leave a voicemail to the homeowner when they say or when they don't pick up a time the first time or second time? What do you say?
What do you do? Do you leave voicemails?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I really like what you had said earlier too about the double dial. That is like what I implement like super heavy. Mine is also again more towards realtors. But let me tell you, like when you call someone and they don't answer and you pick up the phone, you call them again. I don't recognize that number. I don't know about you guys, but I usually am like, okay.
Why are they calling me?
Why are they calling me?
It must be important.
Is
Yeah,
this,
well,
is this
it's
a
a
doctor?
trigger.
Is this like
Yeah. I don't now because
right?
Yeah,
right,
I get
right,
it. I get
right.
it now, yeah. Yeah, my phone's just
because I know the
vibrating.
technique. I'm like, it's when they triple
Right,
triple
right.
tap you.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But just to answer that, so we leave
Yeah.
the voicemail on the second time if we double dial.
Okay.
Yep.
So
When you leave a voicemail, how do you? So I don't. When I in the coaching that I do, I say just blow through it, catch them live. Don't leave a voicemail because they're going to call back, and you're going to be on your back foot because you're not going to know
what to
who
do.
this is, what property is. You
Yeah.
have to do the whole. I'm not in front of my computer right now.
Yep.
I don't have the information in front of me right now. Can you tell me what address was? You know what I mean? What do you?
yeah, so
like how do you?
Yeah, because we do
make that successful?
with multiple callers and dialers. So we'll leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
And then that number is a what is it called? A press 1, press 2.
Okay.
So it's press 1 to leave a message, press 2 to be removed from the list.
Got it.
It's not a call back live to agent. It's
Okay.
live if it's a call back live to a voicemail system.
Yeah.
And then my team then will filter through that. We don't get
Got
a
it.
lot of deals from
Right.
voicemails
Right.
because you do have to catch them head on.
Now, are these RVM or are you cold calling and then dropping?
You're
voicemail?
dropping the voicemail when you're.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
dropping the voicemail.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's
And then
not
they'll call
RVM.
back into
Yeah, gotcha.
a filtering system.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. There you go.
does pretty well.
Brandon, there he is. Can you talk about trends you see in this last quarter of the year with buyers and sellers? Are they more active or more lax with the holiday seasons coming in?
So, I mean, last quarter, dude, at the beginning of the last quarter, I thought we were in the middle of like a correction that was like crazy. I had like 12 appraisals on the traditional business that were just coming in super low. So I was like, dude,
Wow.
like what's going on? Like, are we in the middle of like some kind of transition here?
Right.
But now, I mean, I'd even say looking back, like the last 30 days, I'm seeing it kind of like go back to normal a little bit. I don't know. Like the only thing is that we're not seeing 30 offers on a property. So a property that normally would have like 30 offers, depending on it being like in a hot location, I would say on average it's still getting multiple offers, but 5 to 10.
You can only take one.
That's just it though. I mean, I would say overall it's still a seller's market, nothing too crazy. I mean, you're competing against multiple offers if it's in a good location. I would say obviously in traditional real estate, holiday season always kind of goes a little bit slower.
Yep.
But on the investment side, where the deals are, people are buying. So.
Yeah, I think that last quarter, I mean, we didn't really see a lot of slowdown because I don't deal with a lot of retail.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So on the investment side, I mean, we're still getting a solid amount of deals. For this upcoming quarter, I don't really deal with the retail side,
Yep.
but I know December a lot of people slow down. or Q4, a lot of people slow down. For us, we pick up even more. And one tip that I'll give everybody listening to this is, yes, people don't want to move during the holidays, but that doesn't mean people won't sign contracts during the holidays, right? So we do longer 30, 60, 90-day closings, filling up our pipeline going into the new year. Beautiful. So that is our emphasis for like specifically the month of November, December, where people don't want to move midway through. We'll do longer closings, so we'll stack up our pipeline.
Love that.
I love that you put this, Brandon, because I'm literally having this conversation with my team tomorrow. The way that it has always fallen in the last 17 years is November 15th is like the cutoff date, right? That's when all the new deals that are going to close this year to hit 2021 goals are going to hit and really get closed before the end of the year. The last couple weeks of the end of the year gets a little wiggly with all the holidays and with all the travel and with everything going on. Now, that doesn't mean that November 15th we stop our lead generation.
Right.
I'm just saying the income comes in for 2020. Usually we have to get those deals in by the 15th of November. Sometimes that gets crazy. But I will tell you this. Historically, 4 out of the last 5 years, December has been our biggest revenue month, our biggest income month, and it's been absolutely phenomenal. So I think right now the conversation has to switch to getting this done before the end of the year. You mentioned you want to get this done before the end of the year. You wanted this to fall into the tax year of 2021. You wanted to get this done, push people to get it done before the end of the year, not to wait till next year. That way, listen, you go into next year fresh. You don't even have to stress about this property anymore. It's like a clean slate for 2022. Doesn't that sound great? Right now, those are the conversations you need to be having with those property owners that are stretching their timelines, like clean slate conversations. Right now, that's what you want to be having.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
One more tip, actually.
Yeah.
Before I forget. During the holidays, something that's worked for us is only if title's clear. Cash advances.
Sure.
And that locks in deals because people need that.
I love it.
People that need that
Alex,
extra money.
I love it.
They need extra
you
money
dog.
for Christmas.
Yes. Cash advances.
Only if title's clear, because we've done it where it's not.
Sure.
And then
then you eat it.
We got through.
Yeah.
We got through the one I remember, but make sure title's clear.
Love it. Hussein, can you explain the process after you have found a buyer and a seller and signed both contracts? I keep getting confused with what to do with the title company.
Yeah. So I would say that you found the buyer, you have a seller, you guys have both signed contracts. Always make sure you're sending everything to title. So title's the one that's going to be dictating the pay on that. So obviously make sure they've got all the documents. I think that would be just about it. I'm confused on I guess what you're confused with. It'd just be if you have the contract, send them over. That'd be the easiest thing. Other than that, process-wise, that's if you already have the buyer. I mean,
Hussein, here's the thing. Here's the beautiful thing about our business. Let the title company do their job. I don't know how they pull title. I don't know what they look at. I don't know what documents that they sift through and get all the payoff information, and then they're getting all this other stuff. Our job is to help distressed property owners get out of the situation. That's half of it. The other half is to, if our exit strategy is to wholesale, then the other half is provide an incredible opportunity for a cash buyer. That's it. We get in the middle of that, all right, as real estate wholesalers. So we're helping this distressed property owner. We got the cash buyer. We meet in the middle. Once we turn over the agreement to the title company and the assignment, they take care of it. Now you want to communicate with them. Make sure that they're getting everything that they need to close on time. Make sure that your cash buyer's depositing their earnest deposit, making sure that they're getting their funds in there in time. But beyond that, our job is just to make sure that the seller is moving towards the goal line here, moving the ball forward, and they're doing that smoothly, and to make sure that the buyers come in and close on time. The title company takes care of their own job. You're going to understand that when you put that deal in and let them take over.
Yeah, title companies, they get paid for what they do.
Yeah.
So leverage experts, leverage We consider title companies like our partners.
Of
Absolutely.
course.
Absolutely. They're part of the team.
So, would you ask your partner a question if you needed one?
Absolutely.
So
Talk to them all day.
Yeah, so don't be afraid
Yeah.
to ask your title company or closing attorney questions. That's what they're there for.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And title insurance, the title, you want to make money, open a title insurance.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just telling you, like those companies, the margins on title insurance are so bananas. They're literally ensuring that they did their job right. That's literally what they're doing.
Yeah,
right?
I did the math on 500 plus deals. I'm like, oh, that's no wonder they love us so much.
Oh yeah, That's why they have all these events
Yeah.
and they take you to the fanciest dinners and they want to
Yeah.
take you to
Yeah.
happy hour and hey, here's some Phoenix Open tickets. Why don't you take these?
Right.
And
Here's the Suns game tickets.
Why are you
Yeah,
smiling?
yeah.
Something funny coming up? All right,
I wish
whatever.
I had to pay
Oh,
for
boy.
them all.
Hey, Juan's hitting up Alejandra. Can you put her on camera there? Can you see? There she. Hey, Juan, there she is. She's looking at all these comments. She's picking out the best questions. So,
That's awesome.
Juan, great to see you, buddy. Great to see you. All right, Angelita.
Ooh, I think this is a question.
Oh, there you
for-
go,
Yeah,
Alex.
what crystals do you wear daily? I see your bracelets. What are you manifesting currently? Everything. I mean, everything intentional that brings me more love, more light, more peace.
Love it.
Crystals I wear. On the daily, I wear crystal quartz, and then I wear my daily amethyst. So
Hey,
amethyst
there you go.
quartz, and then
Is that your?
That's this one right here.
Oh,
Yeah,
look
amethyst.
at that.
So, and
Is
then-
that on your wrist?
no, not on these, but
Oh,
those are my
okay.
dailies.
Yeah.
So this is tiger, and then lava rocks, and then dang, I forgot the other name. One I do wear daily is it's called a moldavite.
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 That's a
Moldavite.
dude.
That one's
That's
a
a
little, I don't recommend that for everybody, but
that's a powerful stone there.
Yeah, I have that.
There you go.
I wear it on my chain.
What is it too? I don't understand.
Yeah,
It's an alien rock.
Yeah, it's
Is
not
it?
from the world.
Yeah,
It's
Supposed
like
to,
a-
it's
it's
supposed
like
to give
a-
you some like
it's
the minute you got that in your life.
Yeah.
speeds up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza, can we get some on Amazon?
Uh,
Let's start passing
I like
these out.
I like getting them in Sedona. Like,
They're too powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
Get them.
Yeah.
Are these like space rocks?
It's like a little green.
meteors?
It's green. It's got like the
Like
it's
a
got
meteor?
bubbles in it.
Yeah,
like,
it's a meteorite.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you pull up a picture of it so I can see it on here?
Yeah, I got my shot.
It's like Joe Rogan in here.
Right? I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Love
That's
it. Yeah, I
awesome.
love this. I love this setup.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
I think
awesome.
look, I think anything when you give intention and you place your attention on the intention,
Yeah.
that's what manifests.
Manifesto.
Love it.
So
Yep.
attention plus intention equals results.
Love that.
That's what I live by. So.
Love it. Let's see what this magic rock is. I want to see this thing. That's cool. Barb, my son is 16 and wants to be a part of the business. What can he legally do before the age of 18? Well, Barb, we're not attorneys, but what I can tell you is he can go find you. He can go bird dog and put the list of the properties that are really rough. Write down those addresses or click the Deal Machine app. Make sure you use the coupon code TTP for that Deal Machine app. It gets you the biggest discount. It's the cheapest cost that they have for that. He can just go and start building your driving for dollars. I mean, he can get on the phone. We have people that get on the phone and call people up and see if they would consider an offer. Now, you're just going to have to check with all the attorneys in your state and just find out what can't. Oh, look at that thing. That's
Sort of.
bananas.
No, it's
What was it called?
Moldavite.
Oh,
Yeah.
What was that one?
Malachite.
Malachite.
So it's a
no, we don't want the malachite.
MOLDAVIT.
It does, yeah.
What's it again?
Anyway, Barb,
MOLD.
he can start picking up the
AVI
phone. I think
VIT.
that getting adult conversations about real estate under his belt is going to be
Moldavite.
huge. And just discovering, hey, listen, where are those rough properties? I think that's the first step, getting the list of the rough properties in the area, and then just trying to call, or maybe even test out some texting. See if that goes. But just make sure that when you're texting back, it's grammatically correct. You don't have to be perfect. You want to make it sound like it's natural, but you don't want it to be too much, too hyphenated. All right.
For sure.
What do you think? 16 years old,
Dude, I would say for me, and this is where I was at 16, wasn't a good headspace. I thought, like, I had way too much of an ego. I thought the world owed me something.
Sure.
I would say at 16, I would challenge that there might be a similar mindset to an extent where you're going to want to make sure that they have the right foundation pieces. You want to make sure that they're set up with the right resources in their life and the right support before they jump into something like this, because this is an extremely mentally challenging business, even though it's extremely rewarding. So that's the best advice I got for 16.
Yeah, I'll add to this because we have you guys know Jacob Blank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, so he went through our programs and he was 16 when he started.
Yeah.
And one thing he did was leverage his dad, right? His dad for all the paperwork stuff. So Barb, if you could be there to support your son for all the legal paperwork, you sign off. He learns. He does the business. That could be a really good way of doing it until he's 18.
Absolutely.
So
Awesome.
let's check out this crystal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Moldavite, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Or is that
Yeah.
the other one?
Moldavite.
that's Moldavite.
How do you spell it?
Moldavite.
Yep.
Is that yeah.
MOLD.
AVIT? Yeah. So I went to a gem show in Tucson.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that one's
that,
awesome.
Yeah, that little crystal right there. Like I paid $1,000 for that alone.
Like
Yeah, it's really
like
small.
this big. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they pair it with the Herkimer diamond quartz, which is like the highest quality quartz there is.
All right.
And so you pair that together, and it's like a really powerful combination.
Yeah.
I will say, like, been in that spiritual
So
world.
what do? You just hold it?
I have
You-
it on a
you-
chain.
you
so
Put
gotta-
it in your mouth?
I
What
don't
do
have
you
it
do?
on me. I can't wear it every day.
You gotta like cleanse it. You gotta like. There's a whole like process there.
Yeah, I can't wear it every day because I get a lot of head energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
very-
definitely
it's
out
very
there,
real.
but
It's very real.
Yeah,
Like,
I get a
yeah.
lot of head
I
energy.
keep mine in my purse.
Yeah.
And I have some in my car.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
a big crystal nerd myself.
All
Like,
right.
yeah, that's
Well, think
it's
about it.
It's energy.
All right, let me
It's energy.
debunk some of the skepticism.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, okay, so when.
Go for it.
Okay, so we have our phones, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know when my light's on. The light's always on, that's why.
That's right.
So, okay, we have our phones. A lot of it is silicon, right? Like,
Okay.
That transmits the frequency to the cell phone towers and
Okay.
connects with everything.
Yep.
Right, so cell phones use crystal to transmit the frequency.
Sure.
Right, so because people are like, oh, but that's, it's all these negative connotations on crystals. But a lot of it, like, do you think that this is like bad juju using your phone?
No.
Like, no, it's not right. So it's
No.
it's a perception we have.
Right.
Same thing with crystals. So there's certain crystals that amplify different things. You look at a circuit board, you look at any type of computer, there is crystals in that computer. So so if you
Watches. Watches have a ton.
Literally.
yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine. So, do you believe that your thoughts carry a frequency?
Got
Like,
it.
do you think that thoughts are like, really like any successful investor, person, or entrepreneur that I meet, they would say like thoughts are a big part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like the mindset stuff. So if our thoughts are transmitting an energy,
Okay.
right? We can use crystals just like phones to amplify that.
Awesome.
Right? That's why like Sedona is like a
Cool.
really hot spot.
I love
'cause it's
Sedona.
all crystal underneath the earth.
Yeah.
So it's just a big antenna to amplify your thoughts.
Awesome.
Yeah. So with crystal, it's it's a little out there, but
I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. One more?
We don't have that many questions
Okay.
left, but I have a question for you guys. What are like the top like real estate books or like mentality, like mental books that you guys read to either spiritually, Alex, I know you're very spiritual,
Yeah.
or just in wholesaling in general?
Got it. Top books?
Yeah.
So start.
I'll go first. I was gonna write them down, but
Well, I'll
Yeah,
give you some time.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, you got to, The Go-Giver is my go-to. That one is absolutely phenomenal. But that is it's basically a parable that came from the root of Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich then evolved into The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And then everything kind of stemmed off of that. I don't care if you're Tony Robbins. I don't care if you are Robert Kiyosaki. I don't care if you're any of those guys that talks about the mental side of the business. Thoughts are things, just like we're talking. I mean, you are right now the sum total of all the thoughts that you've had.
Yep.
So our brain is incredibly powerful and can be wildly influenced by a lot of different factors. So it's really important that you read to put great stuff in there and you surround yourself by incredible people.
Without
There you
a doubt.
go.
Yep.
There you go.
For me, it was same foundation. We talked about this before,
Yep.
but Think and Grow Rich and then Rich Dad Poor Dad is
Yep.
such a great foundation.
Yep.
Some other big books for me, I really liked Who Not How. I liked, there was Profit First. We've talked about that one a few times too. I think that if you're at the point where you're making money and you're trying to figure out, man, my profitability doesn't make sense, where's all my money going?
Yep.
Profit First is a great book. And then I also, I haven't really talked about this one much, but Jab, 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 Right Hook by
Love
Gary
it.
Vee.
Yep.
I use that one more than I talk about. But, yeah.
That's awesome. So I was at an event once and somebody asked this question like, "Hey, what books do you recommend?" And I think they asked Eric Thomas,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Don't ask me what books I'm reading. Tell me what problems you have."
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I look when I read because I have a whole library at home. I look at the problems I have in my life, whether that's I'm not organized or not productive or health or whatever it is. Then that's what I read, right? But I just wanted to say that because identify the problems that you have in your life and then go read those books.
I love it.
Right. But I'm going to give my top 3. Number 1, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. That book is amazing. Talks about something called resistance, which we all face in our lives. Doesn't matter how much money, what age or color or anything you have. We all face resistance in different forms. It labels it as an upper limit problem. And then the term is OPE. So OPE is like you're gulping, OPE. But it talks about resistance, how to break through that, how to break past that ceiling, that barrier of resistance to get to.
What is it called?
The Big Leap.
Love it.
And then there's a second book called The Joy of Genius. Right after that. That book changed everything for me because it allowed me to just have pure awareness as an entrepreneur, so I don't face those resistant points.
Love that.
Or process it faster.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
And
there's
then-
also you go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
go ahead.
The Happiness Advantage is a phenomenal book.
I haven't read that one.
You would love it. You will love it. Happiness Advantage. Yep.
Second, it's called Code to Joy. Code to Joy by Dr. George Pratt. He's a mentor of mine. He's a psychologist out of San Diego, which I recommend anybody and everybody do a session with him because the guy is special. He's worked with Rob Dyrdek, Phil Mickelson, tons of athletes. Rob Dyrdek credits all of his success to him. It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Code to Joy by Dr. George Pratt. And then for a little bit more spiritually advanced books, Power versus Force by David Hawkins. Really all of Hawkins' work is it's amazing. So David Hawkins, Power versus Force. And then a book that really opened up my eyes to see what we are is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
Happiness what?
Advantage.
Got it.
The Happiness Advantage. I've got it in here, but get it on
Amazon.
Anyway, guys, that is it. 91 minutes in. Thank you so much, Alex.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Absolutely
Thank you.
incredible
Thank you.
show, incredible story, incredible inspiration, and real life. I mean, these are, that's why I love doing these, Alex, right? And Ryan and I have been dedicated to do this every single week is because a lot of what we deal with is in the mind, right? A lot of it is the limiting beliefs that we have, and having somebody like you come on with your experience, your background, and your story, and then you're writing new chapters every single day. You're doing amazing things. You're just an incredible inspiration. So
Literally writing
thank
new
you.
chapters.
Yeah, I know. Literally. So thank you. So
Appreciate
close
it.
us out, Ryan.
What an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, Alex, thank you so much, dude. We've been trying to get this together where we can get a lot of these younger entrepreneurs
Yep.
that just have obviously figured out some type of success before 30 and it can pour into our audience. So again, thank you so
Anytime.
much.
Yeah.
Anytime
And-
you guys, I'll run it back again.
Awesome.
I love this
Absolutely.
stuff.
Awesome.
And I hope you guys enjoyed. And if there's anything you guys require from me, or I know these guys do.
How do they
we're here.
how do they get in your world? DM
Yeah,
you? Or
yeah.
be
You
in
can
your-
find me on Instagram
Yep.
at Alex Saenz, Saenz, or YouTube as well. So Alex Saenz, YouTube.
Check them out.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Until next week, we love you.
Peace.
See ya.
Later, guys.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up.